In a world where every structure tells a story, one name has been crafting narratives of success for 100 years, C.E. Gleason Constructors. For a century, we've been the general contractors of opportunity, the builders of dreams. From retail developments to state-of-the-art industrial complexes, real estate developments, and senior living communities. Our legacy is defined by the diverse portfolios of projects we've brought to life. With a commitment to craftsmanship, we've transformed visions into reality. Here's to 100 years. Let us help you expand your business. C.E. Gleason Constructors, building visions and turning dreams into reality.
Welcome to Pickleball, Michigan and Beyond, a show that explores the people, players, places, and most importantly, communities that make up pickleball in Michigan and around the world. Here's your host, Tony Conley.
And welcome back to Pickleball, Michigan and Beyond. I'm Tony Conley, your host. Thanks so much for joining us. Benjamin Robinson is our producer and executive producer extraordinaire. Thanks for being with us. We've got back on a pretty good friend of the family, Carl Pawluk. Is a fabulous musician. We'll talk about that later. But more importantly, he's a really, really good pickleball player and an excellent instructor. And that's not to say you're not as good a player as an instructor, Carl, but I haven't seen you play live yet. So I have been coached by you, and I know you're awesome. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Tony. Thanks for having me back. I appreciate it.
All right, you were down in Florida, so tell us where you were, why you were there, and how the trip went.
Yeah, so I just got back from the U.S. Open in Naples, and it was incredible, overwhelming, I suppose, to say the least. I just looked it up. There was 3,750 participants, and I think 500 of those were pros, like touring pro level. Not necessarily the PPA pros, but Annalie Waters was there. I think her male partner was Jay DeVilliers, and so it was neat to see all the pros. It was my first time outside again, which is, it's shocking. And it was windy, way windier than I was used to. Mm-hmm. Awesome experience. It's just pickleball madness. I've never seen so many pickleballers. There's 65 courts at the Naples venue, so that's just mind-blowing.
All right, talk about the pro game. I know you had an opportunity to watch that a little bit. Who impressed you the most, and what about their games impressed you?
I'll tell you what. So I did not have. So at the venue, they have one main court that's completely surrounded, and so you have to pay to get into there. And I did not buy the tickets to watch, like the folks that were on center court. But next to the area that I was playing, if the pros that weren't on center court, they would be playing there. So I got to watch just several. And I mean, they're all impressive. It's, like Annalie's the best female player in the world, just amazing.
Carl, what makes her so good?
I would say, like the other touring pros, I get asked this question a lot. I think it's just her tenacity. It's next level. It's like
she's a dog, isn't she?
Yeah, I mean, she's the Michael Jordan level. Like, I think in her mind, it's just she's not going to lose. And sometimes you'll hear her say like, "Want it," like because she beats everybody. And so I imagine how hard that would be. Like, I know for me personally, and I'm nowhere near her level. When I'm up on players that might not be as good, right? I'm up 7-0 or whatever. It's hard to stay up. So you often, and that's true in any sport, you start to that's why comebacks happen in basketball, for instance, that the dominant team lets up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And she just has that gear where she'll only let that happen so much. And then she just goes nuts. So obviously she's impressive, but again, I spoke to you before about this, that such a cool thing about pickleball is how the pros are right there. They're on the court next to you. And so they're accessible. And even in between games, they're walking around, they're taking photos, chit-chatting with everybody. So I think, they're trying to grow the brand also. And I think it helps when they're accessible. So just watching like the pace of their serves, the accuracy of their counters, like they're not just countering a speed up just by happenstance. They're actually countering it and putting it away, right at their shoelaces. So it's just awesome.
Any Michigan players you were able to identify and maybe watch or talk with?
Some local Michigan players that play on my level. and even a little bit above, there's a local 5-0, or not local, but I think a Detroit area 5-0 player, Kyle Worthy. Got to watch him play a little bit. He did well. Some other friends of mine, a genre, some players from down in the Jackson-ish area or Olivet area. I can't recall any like Michigan pros, like the Connor Mogul, the Michigan pro that I'm familiar with. I think was playing in Sacramento this weekend, but it was neat, just neat to see. And there's players from all over the world. I had there in my bracket, there was a couple, we didn't play against them, but I think they took gold that were from Italy. The people from all over the world playing. So it was cool.
Was the tournament run in a first class way? I mean, were you comfortable and everything was in order? And
oh, it was outstanding, man. They, 3,750 people playing, 65 courts going nonstop. They used, I think the software they were using was called like Pickleball Den, I believe. Super efficient. You'd get prompt texts and say, hey, look, you're going to court. Let's say we just got off court number 20 and we won. So we might be sitting for a while. Well, if you lost, you go down to the consolation brackets. You got to work your way, back, and you might have to go to court 45. So you got to hoof it, over to a different section of courts. But the texts were very prompt. The officials were outstanding. There's every court's got an official on it. And they're standing there roasting in the heat, just, keeping track of the score and the serve, and sometimes putting up with people grumbling about a call or this and that. And I just thought the officials were outstanding.
I was in Naples in September, mid to late September. Of course, the weather was great, but Naples is a pickleball crazy city. Those folks are really into it, and they've got great facilities down there.
Oh, this park was amazing. I was in 3 different events, and I don't know this for fact, but I was staying in Estero with my uncle, and I happened to play at the courts in his neighborhood, and I was chit-chatting with some locals, and they were like, yeah, we didn't get in any events. How did you get into 3? So I don't know how all that works. I mean, it's a lottery from what I hear, but I know there were some locals that didn't get in, and so I don't know.
Okay, I know you're a pretty competitive guy. What'd you learn about your game, and where do you need to get better? Where do you want to get better?
Oh man, I got to get better everywhere. It's such a mental game, like I can get to be such a hothead, and I want to win so bad. And I'm in one of my events. I mean, I'm playing with one of my best friends. We've been friends forever. And, if I start to blow my stack, he's like, look, man, it's just pickleball. And that is true. It's hard to balance that, You're being like 50 years old, like how serious do I need to take this? I mean, I want to win so bad, but ultimately, it's got to be about relationships too. So I'm learning how to be a better partner, not show my emotion. Like, cause if you show a negative emotion, you could be affecting your partner. If they're seeing you shrug your shoulders or just your head drop or eyes roll or something like that, I mean, that's not helpful. And I am so bad at that, to be honest with you. So I need to be better at that. I played with a guy, I'll just tell you, I played with a guy from Virginia that I've never met. He picked me up because his partner got injured. And, I don't know how to help lift up somebody that I've never met before, or, what my body language could really affect that person. So I think players of all levels need to understand that your body language affects your partner out there too.
What's so interesting about you, Carl, as a musician, totally different personality, and then as an instructor, very patient, very kind, but you do tell the truth and you don't sugarcoat things. So you're able to really pinpoint a personality that works for whatever role you're in.
Well, yes, but that doesn't always work. And that's why, I mean, finding tournament partnerships is very difficult. I think you'd see that on the pros too. The pros are switching partners back and forth. Everybody's outstanding as touring pros, right? And so you're trying to find that magic thing where the communication is seamless. Ideally, it really helps to find somebody that, let's say a ball's coming to you and I see the right shot, or what I presume to be the right shot, and you see that same shot. in your mind and you execute that shot. That's kind of what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be surprised by what your partner does. And so I found that quite a challenge in some of my matches, because I was caught off guard by the shot that my partner might hit, and vice versa. You know, if they're caught off guard by something I'm doing, that's not helping either. So that's definitely like next level stuff that you know people really need to grasp.
Carl, what did you learn that you might incorporate in your teaching?
Well, like I said, like I mentioned, attitude is something that, although
Well, that's a big deal, isn't it?
oh, it's huge, and I can't teach somebody that, but I can make them aware of, like, okay, how can you better help that? You know, court coverage is a big deal, and I'm starting to teach that a little bit more. I think at some of the higher levels, you know, if you and I are playing, and if I'm the weaker partner, maybe they're targeting me, and I'll tell you at the open, if you were the weaker player, you got targeted a lot. I mean, you're getting a lot of balls, and your your consistency has to be up if you're getting targeted. It's very taxing. So court coverage, like, can I sneak over a little bit and take some pressure off of you, for instance? You know, how far is that to where I'm creeping over to one side but not getting too out of position? So teaching court coverage is something I'll be focusing on as well.
And talking about court coverage and talking about the weaker players, there's something the stronger player can do to kind of dictate play, maybe more back to the stronger player and away from the weaker player, or something to put the weaker player in a better position to make stronger plays.
I wish I could tell you exactly what that was, because I was trying to figure that out on the fly, and that was awfully hard to do in the wind. But hitting the ball to the middle, like if the weaker player can hit the ball like straight across themselves, force that person to have to hit it, cross court. Because ideally, the safe shot is the cross court dink. Everybody says that. It's you've got the biggest margin for error there. And so, I tried to coach sometimes my partner to say, hey, look, let's try to hit it straight across from you to that person's backhand, force them to have to hit it back towards me. Easier said than done, though, because higher level players can handle that and fend that off as well.
So when I'm playing, Carl, I'm exploring kind of like I do when I coach basketball. I'm hitting to the forehand and the backhand to see how they play. Can they hit on the move? I'll give blasts right to the body, down to their feet, to see what they can handle and what they can't handle, and then play on afterwards. Is that a good strategy, you think?
Yeah, I've been coaching this a lot lately. I tell people to, look down at your feet. You want to make contact kind of within that V shape that your feet are making, so you're making contact out front. And if in your mind's eye, where your opponent is standing, you just want to get them to have to hit while they're leaning, or have to make them make a step. And so, the lower level players, they just tend to dink it right back, right? I'm just hitting it right back to them. Well, then you're just putting it on a platter for them. So yes, I think you're onto something. Get your opponent moving a little bit.
Hi, this is Tony Conley from Pickleball, Michigan and beyond for Willow Event Designs. It starts with a vision, a feeling, a moment you have imagined. Willow Event Designs does not just decorate spaces, we design experiences. Your story, your brand, your celebration, all brought to life. Willow Event Designs, designed to be unforgettable. Call them at 517-927-4039. You can also email them at willoweventdesigns@gmail.com. Check out their website at www.willow-event-designs.com. Check them out on Instagram and Facebook, Willow Event Designs. Carl, I've read a couple of articles about lobs, how too many of them are unsportsmanlike and not fair. And what I've been learning about lobs, if I can hit it to the backhand of my opponent and just see what happens, it's been working for me. What do you think about that?
No, I think it's effective. If it's not too windy, I think there's just, you got to measure the risk reward. You know, if you're playing somebody fairly immobile, hey, it's a tournament. And so, sorry, if you can't get this, I'm going to hit it. But there isn't a great time to hit a lob. I mean, if your opponents are mid court, I mean, goodness, don't do it. You know, I think lobs have their place, but are there too many lobs? It depends. You know, it really depends on who you are. I was playing 4 or 5 plus at the Open. There was plenty of lobs happening. It's becoming more and more prevalent even at the pro level. But yeah, I think you still need to choose wisely with that.
All right, Carl. So what's next? Where are you playing next?
I don't know. I think the Beer City Open is the lottery is opening up. I think it opened up yesterday for that. So I'm kind of hunting for a partner. I want to play. I turned 50 this year, so I'm looking at playing like the 50 plus age bracket. So I'm hunting for a partner for that. Yeah, I'm just going to be working on my game. I haven't sought out a whole bunch of tournaments lately. I booked a bunch of music gigs yesterday, so I'll be kind of transitioning back into some music. But I definitely want to play Beer City, and I'm sure there's going to be a few tournaments here and there.
You know what's crazy about these tournaments? Even here in our area, in West Michigan, Detroit area, there's lotteries. You just can't get in. You have to get lucky because they're so popular. They've kind of got to restrict how many people they allow in.
Yeah, and I'm noticing, people in the pickleball world, they wait till the last minute to sign up. You know, they want to see if their peers are playing, or if if there's some good players that have signed up, especially at the higher end, because the way the duper scoring works is you don't want to play anybody below your duper score. This is the feel I'm getting, because for instance, if I don't beat a 4.0 by 10 points, I could win and my duper rating still drops.
Wow.
And so there's people that just are pretty frustrated with the whole duper thing. But yeah, but there's so many venues hosting incredible tournaments every weekend that, the MAC, for instance, we had a tournament last weekend. There was only 30 participants, but Earth Day in Grand Rapids, I think that's coming up this coming weekend. I mean, there's like 300 and something, I think. And so, people have a lot of different opportunities, and I think they're looking for the coolest venues to go to.
I've yet to meet anyone who says the duper rating is just great. For the most part, it's grand. There seems to be so many challenges with it and so many complaints. Why don't they make changes more often with that? Or are there other rating systems that people are starting to gravitate towards?
Well, I mean, it's the standard, and I think I don't know if that's fortunate or unfortunate. There's UTR is another rating system. I think there's a couple more on the horizon, but ultimately, I'm not exactly sure how you fix something, especially when it's a doubles scenario. Like, let's say you and I are playing together and I'm getting targeted and I'm just not performing. Well, both of ours are going down, and so I don't know how that gets fixed. I really don't.
Carl, you said something very interesting to me when we were chatting this weekend. You were playing and you go, yeah, I'm not winning as much as I like, and it's a little frustrating. It makes me wonder if if I'm not where my rating is or whatnot. But that self-assessment was pretty interesting to me because a lot of folks have a challenge with that. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, pride comes into this a little bit. I mean, I think I'm a better player than what my duper score is, but ultimately, like, if I can't go out there in a tournament and win, nobody's going to listen to what I'm complaining about. So I sort of resign myself to say, like, look, I just need to be the best partner I can be. And if I become that great partner, then better players are going to want me to be their partner. You know what I'm saying? So as much as I can point fingers elsewhere, ultimately I gotta look in the mirror and figure this out. I really do. And it's hard.
So people are watching, huh? As they're looking for partners for tournaments or whatnot.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as you get higher in the level, the pool gets little shallower, of different players. And because this sport is still growing, you get a lot of people coming over from tennis that have fallen in love with this game. It's still growing. And so you could have been the hot dude a couple years ago, and that doesn't matter. There's 20 more that have just started playing, and they're better than you are now.
Yeah, there's always a bigger fish, isn't there, Carl?
Yeah, always.
Let's talk a little bit about your instruction, your teaching. Tell me what's coming up. I really like the fact that when we take classes, especially in group settings, we're working on different aspects, whether, it's court play, it's service, it's defense, or whatever. What do you got coming up, and how can folks get a hold of you if they're interested in your instruction?
Well, I teach at the Michigan Athletic Club for the most part, and I know starting second week of May, I believe, we've got a whole nother session of drill and plays coming up. So you can find me. I teach Monday and Tuesday mornings at the MAC, and I teach privately in Clinton County. And I'm going to start doing some clinics on the third shot drop, on strategy, because I think a lot of people in that 3-5 level, they're really thirsty to get better. And I think a lot of them, like in the 3-5 to 4-0 level, have plateaued, at least in the circles that I'm seeing. And they don't quite know, they don't really know why. Why have they plateaued? And, I think from a coaching eye, I can help them figure out what's costing them points.
Carl, what's it like at the end of a lesson or workshop when you see someone who just kind of gets it? And what's it like for you when you see someone you've worked with out in the tournament game, or even just playing for fun, but just getting it and playing better? How's that make you feel?
Oh, that's why I do it. I mean, it's so fun to just have a student have like a light bulb moment, where they just like, oh, that's what Carl was talking about. Or, and it comes from trust. You got to trust that whatever I'm saying is going to work or is for your benefit. And so I try to build relationships that way. And I've had several people thank me for that. And that's kind of why probably most of us in the coaching field do it.
All right, before I let you go, we got to talk a little bit about music, the Highwaymen and Carl as a single. What's going on with you guys for the next few weeks where you're going to be playing?
It's the Townsmen, but I appreciate
the Townsmen. I'm sorry.
No worries. So I've got some stuff in September, and let's see. I think that the Townsmen, we're going to do the DeWitt Ox Roast in August, and then we're going to do Joe's Market, I think, in September. That's a little north of here. But I booked, let's see, this Friday I am at the Sidebar in East Lansing.
Mm-hmm.
And then May 2nd, and all summer I'm doing twice a month at Bella Vista Winery. That's one of my favorite places to play. So you guys got to check that out.
The cool thing about Carl, I'd like to tell our audience, when he plays, there's a lot of variety. I'm a big Prince guy, and I've heard you go from Prince to great rock and roll to just different classic stuff. That's pretty cool, the way you situate your arrangements to fit different types of genres.
Well, I appreciate that, man. When you're playing for, at wineries and those types of venues, you get a huge spectrum of folks. And I really kind of pride myself on seeing somebody's head snap around like, oh, wow, I wasn't expecting that. So I love that.
So before I let you go, Carl, I keep telling you that I got so many questions. You got to see former tennis great Ivan Lendl play pickleball. Tell us what he was like. And you've got a great story about a match that they were struggling in.
Yeah, so to see Lendl was amazing because, I was just a kid when he was untouchable in professional tennis. And now he's like a senior pickleball icon, wins every tournament he plays in. He's not very mobile any longer. So he plays, I think he might be 67 years old. So he's like in the 66 to 69 or 65 to 69 bracket. So my buddy Todd got to play against him a couple times, and his team got like 6 points on him in one of the games. So that's pretty dang good. I mean, Lendl's good. Well, he's not very mobile. He's had double hip replacements. He's had back issues, and he was a pro athlete for like 30 years, right? And so his body's beat up, so he's not very mobile, but his hands are amazing. So we're watching him play in the 65 plus final. And I was telling you, his partner's a stud because his partner's that age too, but moves very well because he has to cover a lot of court. And keep in mind that Lendl's opponents are not hitting him the ball, right? Because he's going to hit the perfect shot just about every time. So his partner is just all over the place. And the team that they were playing had won a game off of them. And so it's best of 3 in this championship. And so everybody's like surrounding this court. They cannot believe what they're watching. You know, you think that Lendl's team's just going to walk away. Well, it's even. It's 1 game apiece. They're in the final game. And the other team was serving. They were up by 1, like 12-11 or 11-10, and they're serving. And so if Lendl's team loses this exchange, it's over. And so the point's happening. They got a great drop. Their points are lasting quite a while. These guys dink very well. So they're not just trying to speed it up and lose, right? They've got to play chess, and they got to play chess for a while. So the points going back and forth, and suddenly you can tell when a team is in control of the point, okay? Lendl's team is not in control of this point, and if they lose this exchange, it's over. So the ball comes to the center of the court. Lendl always plays the left side. They stack, so he's always on the left. His forehand's always down the middle. They get Lendl to take a step to his right, so he's beat on his backside down the line, and they know it. And the guy hits a sweet shot, and Lendl goes behind the back, perfect reset. They're back in the point, like 3 more hits, and Lendl hits a winner. And it totally deflated that team. They knew that was their one chance. They were going to win it on that point. But Lendl hits a behind-the-back reset that was perfect, and Lendl's team won the championship. It was outstanding. I mean, the crowd went bananas.
He must have practiced that shot to hit it so well, too, huh?
I mean, like when you're the best in the world at something, he can probably do that whenever he wants. And he's so accessible. He's right there in the crowd. He's watching other people play. Anyway, that was just a story like to look at a childhood sports icon and just go, man, he's almost 70 and he's still got it in terms of like his hands are amazing.
Awesome. We'll leave it right there. Great story. Great story. I appreciate it. So, Carl, anyone who wants to get a hold of you in regards to teaching or your music venue list, how can they get a hold of you?
Just Carl Pawluk, Pickleball on Facebook, and Carl Pawluk Music on Facebook. That's probably the easiest way and most universal way to get a hold of me.
Carl, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for your time. Can't wait to get my next lesson and just have a frosty, cool one and watch you play. Appreciate you greatly.
Thanks, Tony. I appreciate it.
I'm Tony Conley. This is Pickleball Michigan and Beyond. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Pickleball Michigan and Beyond. Follow us on Facebook and check out our website, pickleballmichiganandbeyond.com.
It's on Reno Sports Bar and Grill. When you come to Reno's, you better come to play. Dine and have a great time any night or day. It's on, we beat the rest. A great time is on tap. It's on, northeast and west, you'll find us on the map.